You. Are your knits a little stiff? Are the edges curling? Well, don't let that destroy your confidence because you can fix this by washing and blocking your piece, and you can do a bunch more with this too. Let's get started, shall we? First, you're going to need your measurements, that way you'll have them on hand for when you pin your washed piece, and you don't need to go looking for them while your piece is wet. If you don't have a blocking board like me, then you can use a folded yoga mat or a bed if you're okay with it getting wet or potentially moldy. I'm also reinforcing mine with some cork boards underneath so my pins really stick, and this is what it looks like so far. You'll also need a measuring tape and or a ruler. Lay down a drying towel near the area you'll be washing. Besides the piece you need to wash, you'll also need baking soda, a sponge, gloves, and wool wash or a light detergent. I'm allergic to fragrance, so I use all for washing all my clothes. If you're washing your knits in your sink, you need to wash it because that's your sink. Do you want your sink germs in your knits? So close the drain and pour some of that baking soda and a splash of water and scrub a dub-dub every single inch of the sink. Voila! We're going to let that sit for 5 minutes or so then it has some time to kill those germs. After those 5 minutes, rinse your sink so then it's glowing even under an incandescent light bulb. Now let's talk water temperature. So if you wash with cold water like I prefer to, it cleans the garment. If you wash with warm water, it also cleans the garment but also washes any extra dye out. And if you wash with hot water, it does all of the above, but it's also more likely to felt your garment. This just means that the fibers are more likely to cling to each other and the garment might shrink a little bit. Water temperature is your decision, but I'm going to go right in the middle here. While your sink is filling, add detergent or wool wash so that it bubbles and make sure it mixes well with the water. Put your gloves on and lay your pieces in the water and press it down gently until it's fully submerged and soaked. Be gentle because we don't want it to felt any more than it already will or needs to. Now we're going to wait anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes so that it soaks up the cleaning agent. Hello, we're in the studio right now, and I need to upload this video tomorrow. But while we're waiting, let's talk about the importance of washing and blocking. This is a non-exhaustive list. Pause to read. This is also something I wrote down in my notes. So wet blocking is a preferred method of blocking, but another highly effective method of blocking is steam blocking. Steam blocking is preferred on acrylic, but for more delicate fibers, you can also spritz block. But this is how I like to clean and block my pieces at the same time. Let's get back to the washing. And here we are after 20 minutes with forbidden soup. If I pull the piece back, you'll see it's released some dye, and that's fine because we're going to rinse it and see if we need to do a little extra. So drain the water and press on your piece to squeeze any excess water out. Do not wring because this will stretch your piece out and that is irreversible. So this is why we're only pressing down very gently. And now we're going to rinse, so start by tossing water onto the piece like so. This distributes the water. If the water flows directly onto the piece, it might agitate the fibers too much and felt it a little more than we need it to. So this is what we're doing. Press down on it again. This is to get out any extra detergent. Also look closely for any extra dye flowing out when the water goes down the drain. I'm going to submerge this piece again regardless, but if you're worried about extra dye, you can submerge the piece again and add a small splash of vinegar before draining and rinsing yet again. This should help set the color. This is after my next rinse, and there's virtually no dye, so I think it's ready to be drained. Drain and press your hand down onto the piece to squeeze out a little bit more water. So the fiber I'm blocking today is an alpaca blend, and even though I know it's not purely alpaca, I know it stretches easily, and I will take no chances. So be sure to support the full weight of your piece when transporting it to the towel or the blocking board so it doesn't change shape too much. Lay your pieces on the towel generally in the shape they'll be in when they're finished. So roll your pieces up into a burrito with the towel. Then we'll squeeze the water out like this, as wringing them out will agitate the fibers too much. Again, felting. If we don't do this, our pieces might mold with all the excess water in it, so that's why we are quote-unquote squeezing it out. So press down across your burrito like this, turn it 90 degrees away from you, and press down across it again. I do this with my feet sometimes, but you're not getting that for free. So once you've pressed all of the sides of your burrito, carry your towel to your blocking board, again supporting all of the weight. Et voila! So get your pins, and from here on out we're going to place our pieces onto the board and pin our piece to the measurements that we took earlier. So ribbing needs to maintain its elasticity, so that is the only part of the piece that we do not block. Basically, I place a pin, I measure, and then I place another pin directly across from it. I place pins along the perimeter every couple of inches or so then my edges don't curl and my piece dries into shape. If you see some uneven stitches, you can take a pin and poke them into place, but this isn't always necessary, as long as it's drying into the shape that you want it to. I don't have a lot of space on my blocking board, but thankfully I'm blocking all rectangles, so I can place the front panels of my cardigan over the pins holding my back panels. I add a few more pins just for good measure, and so then it stays in place. And this is what my piece looks like when it's done. I give it at least 24 hours to dry. I might give it a little bit more time just because I've double layered things. But yeah, I'll check back with you tomorrow. Oh, and don't forget to lay it flat in an area where it won't be touched near someplace with good ventilation. It is the next day and it is dry! Remove all the pins and the piece from your blocking board, and let me give you a better look at the drape of this piece. As you can see, the fibers have blown out a little bit, so then the edges lay flat, and this piece is just super soft and fluffy. You can see it. And that is a wrap. I'm gonna go finish editing this video and let me know if you'd like to see my steam vlog. If you enjoyed this video, kindly like and subscribe to join the stitches that I seam, and I will be seeing you next time.